Good morning. I think we all have a tough time with embarrassing politicians. We all have them. Those guys, when you hear them, you look around and hope that nobody else listened. You will find them in every nation. You will find them in Hungary and Poland. I know it. And in Sweden we have them. The Swedish PM is one example. But some of his ministers are worse. It's terrible. It's tough. It is. And you have these fantastic examples, of course, like Justin Trudeau, Hillary Clinton. I know people are embarrassed about these people. Nancy Pelosi, so on. So now Angela Merkel, she's becoming an embarrassment to the German citizens, because she's shaking 3 times now in these public events. She has been shaking. If you haven't watched it, maybe you should. It's awful to watch it, actually. She's shaking like crazy. And this is, of course, an embarrassment to the citizens of Germany. Now, they talked about this in Swedish television. I was very surprised. You know, they never say anything bad about Angela Merkel. Never. Which is interesting. But they did talk about this shaking this morning. And they showed all these 3 events where she was shaking. And they gave the explanation that Angela Merkel gave about being dehydrated. And then they interviewed some people on the street about this in Germany, and they were all very sympathetic about this. You know, felt sorry for Angela Merkel working so hard. No negative words about Angela Merkel. But then there was something missing. This was my thought anyway. There were no doctors. They should have a doctor in the studio or on a link or something. That would have been good. Yeah, a doctor's view on this. Maybe they didn't like what this doctor might have said. Nothing. Here's another German politician, also quite embarrassing. The new EU president, Ursula von der Leyen. She told reporters that certain players within the Brexit debate must watch their tone. Or what? What's going to happen? Oh, that's quite harsh, isn't it? You must watch your tone. Right. Now, France. On Friday, hundreds of migrants stormed this historical building Pantheon in Paris, demanding the French state grant them residency papers and free housing. Of course. Now, most of these guys were illegal migrants from West Africa, and they managed to break into the Left Bank Mausoleum. Now, this is a very important building in Paris. So they came into the mausoleum where various noted historical French men and women are buried. Okay, hundreds of them, maybe 300 actually. And so what do you think about this, French citizens? Do you want to pay up? You feel sorry for these guys? If you don't, you can turn to your president. Yeah, he will handle this in a heartbeat. All right. And finally, here's another embarrassing politician from the UK. Cornwall council leader. His name is Julian German, actually. Seems to be a theme in this video. Oh, that's his name, Julian German. And he didn't like the Brexit Party MEPs in the EU Parliament turning their backs during this ceremony recently. Maybe you have watched this. It's a good thing to watch it. I love this scene. So they turned their backs while they were playing the national anthem in the EU. It's not a nation, but they played the anthem. So this guy, Julian German, he didn't like it. And he says this, and this must be embarrassing. If I was living in Cornwall, I would be embarrassed, because this is what he says. He says, in this chamber, we will never turn our backs on one another. We will have difficult conversations and robust debate. We will have residents protesting, and we will listen to them. We will cherish and defend the democracy that allows us to hold different opinions and to resolve our issues peacefully. Sounds very nice. And then he says, and this is what makes this whole thing that he said earlier bullshit, of course, because this is what he says. I want to take this opportunity also to give our welcome to migrants to Cornwall. See? So, did you ask the residents in Cornwall, did you? Talking about democracy and listening to residents. Yeah, embarrassing politicians. There's too many of them, I think. Maybe we'll have to learn how to live with it. Yeah. I think they will always be around. But we have to vote differently. So maybe we can reduce the numbers. All right. That's all. Bye.